Hey, it's Santa! Santa, can you please bring me something for Christmas?
We told you so, episode 56. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all.
Thanks.
So throughout Donald Trump's entire campaign, aside from focusing everything on being illegal immigrants' fault, he ran on a platform of no wars and lower prices. Remember how all the Republicans were like, you can't afford eggs anymore, you can't afford gas! Yet now there's been several reports about how Trump is actually backing off on that claim about lowering grocery prices because he said it would be very hard. And the MAGA followers are already moving the goalposts saying, he never said he was going to lower prices. Well, he's basically walking back the first part too. Because not only has he basically threatened war with Canada and said he wanted to annex them, which of course, it was terrible, so it was a joke, right, MAGA? But now, over his sudden claims that the Panama Canal is too expensive, Trump is basically, I guess, threatening war with Panama, saying that he demands the country hand over the canal. This is a man who has spent his entire life never paying his bills and never paying his workers, and whenever he wants something, he just takes it. And of course the MAGA for years were saying, we had no new wars under Donald Trump, which was, wrong. But Trump's not even in office yet, and he's already threatening two countries. The conservative media is making a huge hullabaloo about Trump's upcoming speech tomorrow, where he wants to talk about his decisive election win. Whereas once again, that decisive election that he keeps calling a mandate was actually no such thing. This was one of the closest races in history that he won by only 1.5% of the popular vote. He won by 2.5 million votes. Just as a reminder, Joe Biden kicked his ass by 7 million in 2020. This was not a blowout, this was not a mandate. This was a squeaker. And he knows that, but his ego can't handle it. His ego also can't handle the fact that ever since then he's been playing second fiddle to Alonia Muskrat. The one who's been threatening Congress members. The one who's been getting Congress people and CEOs to do what he says, not what he says. Because the American people are starting to learn at this point who exactly is going to be the future president and who's the little bitch taking orders. In fact, people like Elizabeth Warren have written to Trump for setting up conflict of interest rules against Alonia Muskrat, saying that he has a direct conflict of interest because he is trying to influence Congress on matters that would affect him financially. Warren wrote, as your transition team ethics plan makes clear, the role of government is not to line the pockets of the wealthiest Americans. A strong enforceable ethics plan for the world's richest man is a necessary first step for delivering on that promise. It is good to see people like her speaking out, however, it is incredibly naive for her to think that Trump would do anything about this. Because not only has Alonia Muskrat already done such horrible things as threaten the Republican Congress so that they took children's cancer research out of their spending bill, but he's also lobbying for Congress to get rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The US government agency that makes sure you're being treated fairly by banks and lenders. Now, why would Muskrat not want banks to be held accountable for fair practices? I don't know. That's weird. But also, after Congress avoided the government shutdown, despite Trump and Muskrat opposing their spending bill, it just shows what a mess of infighting there's going to be in the Republican Party, specifically between Trump, the Republicans, and Muskrat. Because a House Democrat said she heard Republicans trashing Alonia Muskrat on a congressional elevator, saying they've had it with him. Congressional MAGA Republicans were willing to listen to somebody like Trump because they believed his same fascist ideologies. And even though Muskrat himself is a Yahtzee and a Yahtzee sympathizer who wants the Yahtzee party over in Germany to take control, right now here all he cares about is completely squashing all other companies and taking all the money for himself. Which is leaving even the shittiest of Republicans wondering where their slice of the pie is. And as we go back to old school infighting, Lara Trump says she's removed her name from contention to be Florida's senator, which was very short-lived after she dropped out of the RNC, apparently because she was getting guff from Ron DeSantis. And now Trump is making fun of Ron DeSantis at all of his speaking engagements. I still find it hilarious that after Trump's constant complaints about immigrants, he spent so long trying to pretend that a president who was born in the US was actually an immigrant who couldn't be a president. Meanwhile, a man who is actually an immigrant to this country, he's now basically putting in charge of it, leaving himself as the little bitch boy. And the simple answer is, this guy's a lot smarter. We all knew this election was very different. We all knew that a lot more was at stake this time. And those of us who already have the PTSD know exactly how 2025 sounds. But once again, many people just couldn't be bothered to vote and decided to let this happen. When, as usual, we tried to warn you, and we fucking told you so. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.